Confidence isn't what most people think it is. It's not about being perfect or having it all figured out. It's not about looking the part or saying the right things. Real confidence is knowing yourself, trusting yourself, and showing up in a way that reflects that. It's not loud, but it's intentional. It's in how you think, how you carry yourself, and how you handle life when things don't go as planned. So today I want to share 3 steps that changed everything for me. They helped me to let go of overthinking, silence the self-doubt, and start showing up as the woman I've always wanted to be. So by the end of this video, you will have a roadmap to help you align the person that you are on the inside with the way that you show up on the outside. You will learn how to build your self-worth, how to develop mental discipline, and how to master emotional intelligence. These 3 things will transform your confidence in ways you didn't think were possible. So if you're ready to stop doubting yourself and start moving with a kind of confidence that feels natural, let's get started. This is your moment, so own it. Step number 1 is to build self-worth from within. So let's start at the beginning. Self-worth. Real confidence is rooted here, but let's be honest. Self-worth is a very difficult thing to pin down. We live in a world that constantly tells us that we're not enough, not pretty enough, smart enough, accomplished enough, just not enough. Something's always missing. Think about it. When was the last time you genuinely felt proud of yourself? Do you celebrate your wins, or do you brush them off thinking that they're not a big deal? And what about when you make a mistake? How do you talk to yourself then? For years, I tied my self-worth to my achievements. If I wasn't hitting my goals or getting recognition for something, I felt like I didn't matter. But here's the truth. Your worth is not tied to what you do. It's tied to who you are. And deciding to believe that is the first step towards confidence. But here's the tricky part. A lack of self-worth is not always obvious. It can show up in very subtle ways, like saying yes to things that you don't want to do because you don't want to let anybody down, or dismissing your accomplishments because you're afraid of being seen as too much, or apologizing when you've done nothing wrong, or constantly doubting yourself even when you know the answer. And for us women, especially Black women, this goes even deeper. We've been conditioned to shrink ourselves, to stay humble, to not take up too much space. But here's the thing, shrinking yourself doesn't make you more worthy. It just makes you smaller. So how do you start building self-worth? It's not about flipping a switch overnight. It's about creating habits that reinforce your value every single day. So here's what worked for me. Change the way you talk to yourself. When that little voice starts with, "I'm not good enough," respond with, "I'm doing my best," then that's enough. It might feel awkward at first, but trust me, it makes a difference. Celebrate your wins. Did you show up for yourself today? That's a win. Did you set a boundary? That's a win. Start acknowledging the small steps. Also set boundaries. This is not about other people. This is about boundaries with yourself. When you catch yourself going into negativity or self-doubt, stop and tell yourself that we're not doing that today. These seems like small changes, but over time, they will change how you see yourself. And when you see yourself differently, the world will too. If you want to dig deeper into this, I recommend the book Radical Self-Love by Sonia Taylor. It's one of those books that feels like a hug and a wake-up call at the same time. Okay, developmental discipline. Now, let's talk about mental discipline. This is what keeps you moving forward when self-doubt, fear, or distractions try to knock you off your track. Because here's the thing, confidence is not just about feeling good. It's about showing up even when you don't. Discipline is difficult because our brains naturally crave comfort. It's why you promise yourself to start working out or tackle that big project only to find yourself scrolling TikTok or procrastinating. It's not that you're lazy, it's just that discipline takes practice. So here's how to start. If you're trying to build a new habit, keep it simple. Instead of saying I'm going to work out for an hour every day, commit to 10 minutes. Small wins will create momentum. I also recommend creating systems. Systems take the guesswork out of discipline. So for example, if you want to start journaling, leave your journal by your bed. If you want to work out, set out your clothes the night before. Also learn to detach from outcomes. This one is huge. Instead of focusing on whether or not you succeed, focus on the effort. Ask yourself, did I show up today? If the answer is a yes, that's a win. When you practice mental discipline, you build trust with yourself. You start showing up because you know you can count on yourself. And that kind of trust is the foundation of confidence. If you're ready to dive into this more, grab a copy of Atomic Habits by James Clear. I feel like I'm always talking about this book, but it really just has all the basics. All right, step number 3, master emotional intelligence. Okay, so finally, let's talk about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is not just about managing your feelings, although that's a part of it, but it's also about understanding your feelings, using your feelings to make better decisions, and building stronger connections with other people. All right, so here's how to start improving your emotional intelligence. Pause before reacting. No, I really mean it. Like, pause before reacting, especially when you're triggered. When someone triggers you, take a moment to breathe and ask yourself, what's really going on here? 9 times out of 10, it's not about the situation. It's about how you're interpreting it. I also recommend practicing empathy. Confidence is not about being the loudest person in the room, which we've talked about. It's about listening and connecting. When you show empathy, people naturally gravitate towards you. I also recommend to learn to let go, because not every situation needs a reaction from you. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away. When you develop emotional intelligence, you will feel more grounded, more in control, and more connected to the people around you. And that kind of energy is magnetic. If you need a practical tool, I would check out Emotional Intelligence 2.0 by Travis Bradberry and Jean Greaves. It's packed with so many strategies that you can start using today. All right, so let's recap. How do you develop your self-confidence? Start by building your self-worth from within, right? Stop looking on the outside to give you your worth and your value, and start looking on the inside for that. Also, develop your mental discipline, because the more you show up for yourself, the more you're going to start to trust yourself, and the more you trust yourself, the more confident that you will be. And lastly, master emotional intelligence. Especially as women, we've been taught to think that our emotions is a bad thing, but it's not. It's all about learning to stop reacting, but instead start to respond. And responding is just all about taking a pause and being more intentional about your responses, being more intentional about how you show up in a situation, especially when you're triggered. Now, these steps are powerful, but they're not just steps. They're a practice. Confidence is a practice. It's not something you arrive at. It's something you create bit by bit every single day. It's a habit that you need to practice every single day and show up in the world as the smartest, most confident version of yourself. So if this video helped you in any way, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also let me know in the comments which of these steps that you're gonna start with. Most importantly though, take one small action today that will move you closer to the person that you're becoming. You've totally got this, right? Confidence is not something you wait for, it's something you build. And now you have the tools to do just that. So go out there, show up for yourself, own your worth. I will see you in the next video. And if you have any questions at all, let me know in the comments.